Present.
Stephen Lovell. Present. Caller.
I am present.
Approval of the agenda? Any additions?
I will move it.
Motion by Jason, second by Patrick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by
I'll second.
Patrick, second by Patrick.
Ouch.
All for the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Reedville subdivision review.
Okay, what I got before you, and this is kind of the concept of what's gonna come, the reason for that, I've talked to numerous family members on this, and it's an estate where they wanna split, or further split it out. And of course, people start spending big money on getting flats and survey and everything done, I wanna make sure that we're okay with the concept of what's going on. So you have two documents I handed out to you. The first one, you put it on sideways, it gets it, so no it does at the top of the bottom. If how the property is currently divided, we have three existing houses. You have one in the orange area, one in the green area, and the blue area is the entire area we're talking about. So you have a house in the middle. Okay.
So currently it's one piece of property.
It's three pieces of property, orange, green, blue, okay?
Okay.
So you had property, three houses. The orange one, I know it's less than an acre and a half. It was done prior to the loan going into effect, so it's a grandfathered piece of tract comes into play. Going to the second one. I tried to keep the color coding the same.
Okay, here we go.
The blue continues to be the outline in regards to it. The green on there and the orange here are both the existing houses that are, or two of the three existing houses are on the property. What they initially wanted to do was just take the yellow H on lot 3, which got a 3 next to it, where the house is at, take it off and make it a parcel ground and say, okay, we got the 3 houses divided off, so everybody's got the houses off. Then we ended up with this tract of property which had some up at the top and then a narrow band near the bottom and come to the bottom down in here, and would have been an odd shaped piece of property which would have been all the farmland that was left over for them to divide, and I wasn't real crazy about that. Then another conversation came up as well. After we get this divided, we're in the person in house green and the person in house orange. They also want additional property to where they're at, so after it's done, we're going to sell them this little bit of property. So when you look at the hash mark of property to the west of green and the hash mark to the north of orange, they'd be acquiring extra property to make their lands bigger, and it kind of gets rid of that back parcel. So it takes the 3 houses that are there, cleans it up, and you have tracts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it's divided out, even if the same person owns 1 and 5, they get the farmland, it's just in 2 separate tracts. They have this narrow line along the back to connect everything. So this is the conceptual idea as to how it be moving forward. So it ends up, as far as our first proposal, it ends up being 5 parcels instead of 4. It's when they first came in to see me. But this kind of makes it more reasonable to take a look at and kind of figure it out. Did I confuse everybody, or are we conflicted on this?
So, how big are these then individual pieces?
Parcel 1 is 2.19 acres. Parcel 3 will end up being 3.2 acres. Parcel 4, parcel 4 will be the existing 1.63 plus the 0.68, so it becomes a little bit about 2.2, 2.3 in that range. Parcel 5 becomes a 2.95. Parcel 2 is the existing 0.59 or 0.6 plus 0.28, 0.3, so it becomes just shy of an acre, about 0.9. But again, that's grandfathered in, and there is a plat act where joint property owners can exchange property. So,
Is there, I don't see a reason why we wouldn't want to do this. Why would we not want to do this?
well, it's just that I just wanna make sure you're okay with it. I mean,
This is all family?
it's,
They're settling the state.
they're settling in the state,
Okay, all right.
and I
Now I
got,
understand why.
and I gotta try to get, the concept that I'm moving forward with is this idea, and it's kind of my idea at this point in time. It wasn't child A or child B or child C, it's my idea. I'll make sure you're okay with this concept.
Have they seen
They have
this?
seen it, they know, and this is from them, yes.
With 3 houses, water, are they sharing a well now, or do we know about?
2 of the houses share well. Orange house and then we yellow
And
H
yellow.
share a well. And they're okay with that for now.
For now,
Well,
is there an easement? I mean, whose property is
there
it?
may have to be an easement put on it, so. It's one of those things that family members, they don't want easement because their family members are gets along, but everyone knows 10,
Might not be a private family member.
20 years down the road, man.
You don't know what they did at Christmas. You know, maybe something bad yeah, that could be
We
a.
exchanged gifts, it could have been not good.
Somebody didn't
So
get
far,
the
I think
omens.
I can get everybody in line with this one, so.
I think it's a good idea.
So the reason why 1 and 3 is different is because 1 is farm ground, 3 is a yard.
How many
Yeah,
of them,
three is this,
how many of them farming?
3 is this building site in here.
Okay.
None.
Oh.
Oh my.
Do we need?
I don't, yeah.
No, it's just, are you okay with the concept? I just make sure that you're conceivably okay with this concept.
What's an acre
I worry
requirement,
about down the road.
Chuck?
3
What's an
acres,
acre requirement
3, I think.
to build on out in the country?
It'd be 1.5 on a new tract.
On a new track?
Yeah.
And an older, is it a different?
Grandfathered in.
It's grandfathered in, so.
Okay, so these both meet, all of them meet the 1.5.
Yeah.
I mean,
2 don't.
Number 2 doesn't,
2's gonna be shy of 1.
but that's grandfathered in.
The tract is grandfathered in, and the plat actually
Is
you
it
can
still?
exchange property between property owners, so.
Yeah, when you,
If you change it, does it stay grandfathered in then?
Would they have to come back for a
That's-
special use to build, knock the old house down and build a new house?
And if they could meet the setbacks, they wouldn't have to, no. Just can you put a septic system on there?
Ooh.
You see,
has the ZBA looked at it?
No, not yet, no. I'm just gonna make this conceptually okay, are we okay with this, and as a
Yeah.
concept to move forward with, yeah.
I am.
yeah, I think, bigger than what it was.
Okay.
Well, it looks like they're trying to work it out, so.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Big
All
happy
right,
family.
we'll go
for
to B. Solar energy.
Solar energy, so the 2 applications were kind of, at this point in time, I guess, slow walking them for various reasons. I'm asking tonight is this. My big question is twofold. Number one, we have the 2 applications in. I've talked to another company. There's another application that's kind of in the chute that'll be coming to me in the next month, within the next month, we'll say.
Here we go.
So it's there.
I mean,
And I guess the big thing I want to say is, it's been so quiet on these things. I mean, if there's issues out there, I want to know about them now, so we address them the right way up front.
the only issue I have brought up to you is that when they put in an application, have it complete. Don't have it attachment A, B, and C, and D, and there's no attachments, or they're not marked. If you're gonna have attachments, put them right on there, put them with the application when they submit it. Don't send it to, now it's coming to us, it's coming to the planning commission, it's coming to ZBA, and it's not all there on either one of them.
Like I said, they resubmitted it, so I got binders on it, so that helps, but I'm just,
I don't know that there's, I don't know why Kankakee was so up in arms about not wanting, solar farms.
well, their one article was an April Fool's joke,
Or was it?
yeah. the 700-acre solar farm they're proposing up there.
Oh, I see.
Some things are just uncalled for, and that would be one of them, just uncalled for.
How about
things,
stirring the
I
pot?
think. Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about Rizzo getting traded to the Cardinals or something. Now that's kind of funny. Now something like that
Yeah.
kind of crossing the line.
So I'm asking, because I wanted to do this the right way the first time through. I'm the one that's kind of slow walking for various reasons at this point in time. Is there any issues out there that you think need to be addressed? I mean, I'm not,
How are we going to tax it?
the taxing is gonna, there's 2 bills pending,
And everything is,
and everything's at the state. I think one's the assessors group, and the other one's the farm group.
have you worked with Shelley at?
I've talked to her about, I've seen the copies, I know what they are. I mean, she shared what's there. It's just that you have the assessors group wanting 2 or 3 times as much, they want to tax similar to wind farms, I believe. And then the companies want, a half to a third less,
Of course.
of course. So one's in the House, one's in the Senate.
And we're gonna require, you're gonna require, we are berms, foliage on top berms, as far as driving down the road, they're not gonna,
Okay, what I'm proposing right now is, we probably won't do the berm, but, and just on the one of the 2 that's proposed, well, it'll be the third one too, but the one of the 2 that's proposed, since it's along Route 17, is to have it along the front and then along the side and maybe around the corner a little bit. The evergreens, I'm looking at the evergreens, in which are the ones that are the narrow, tall ones that grow to about 20 feet tall. They can be compact, and that way they get to a height that doesn't upset
I mean, they're not
people.
really gonna be an eyesore, I don't
So the only
think
problem,
it's gonna be an eyesore
He's
anyway.
got a picture of those evergreens if you want to see it.
I mean, it's still for discussion, but that's not what I'm asking.
so the only problem I have with that
Yeah.
is, and I think, I agree with you and I understand that. The only problem I have with that is when people plant those things, or better yet, people don't. So we have an application that took place in Livingston County, that part of that was supposed to have trees involved in it and was supposed to have trees. They still never happened, not that I'm bringing that up, but the point I make is, what happens when the trees die? Is it a requirement to put them back up there? Because a lot of times, a tree will die, well, I put the tree there, I'm sorry, I apologize, and now we're back at square one.
Okay.
You see, and so I have, that's the only issue I have with putting
Maintaining the
evergreens.
aesthetic value of the initial,
So add
Requirements.
part of a condition saying you have to maintain,
because some of them trees,
maintain it.
yeah, you can plant,
Dies,
arborvitae's,
replace it, et
wherever
cetera.
they are, you can plant 20 of them and you can just about be sure a couple of them are good.
I can't imagine that anybody would kill them just to get rid of them, but you never know that either, because you don't have to deal with it anymore. I've seen people take a lot of trees out. I'm just saying that there
I think
has to
that's
be,
the only thing I would say I've ever had anybody talk about was, it's always the aesthetic value, now my house isn't facing this, and nobody else is either, up there. But driving down the road, some people don't wanna see other things up in the air, but, they may not.
Well, to his point, that when Blagojevich was governor, she had a bunch of trees planted up there by Dwight and never watered them. So 3/4 of them, or more than that, are dead. Nothing was ever done to replant them, or it's just,
it looks good on paper.
well,
You know.
they look good when they first put there for the
And then all of a
country
sudden,
to
You
die.
have to maintain it.
Bob,
No setbacks, no nothing on, I mean, what are you proposing?
What do you fear? What do you think is gonna pop up or whatever? I mean,
I just think it's like almost anything else, how's it gonna affect, I don't like the looks of them, is it gonna affect my property values, et cetera. These are general things that are gonna be.
I would think a concern more than that would be the angle of incoming solar rays versus the reflection coming off. So one of the questions that I would ask is, okay, if we're on 17, does the angle of the reflected light, is that in somebody's eyeballs?
I mean, that's a company answer question. Normally they're gonna use black glass, so it's not reflective, and if you're doing a solar, it's gonna be facing up or going to the
you're
south.
gonna
So
have these trees planted.
it shouldn't be along 17 So it shouldn't be facing
I would think
17.
it's going that way.
It's gonna go the other way, yeah.
But I'm talking other applications.
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
How did the public hearings up in Grundy County go for the 240 acre one?
No, I think they got approved. I think they got approved, but I'm
Short and sweet.
That and decommission down the road.
Okay,
Decommission's in that, isn't it?
we
Yes.
we have to whittle it out, make sure we get it to where it needs to be too, yeah. So that's, we have to pull everything out of these companies to get it out, so.
Imagine that.
And make sure that's all transferable down
It's
the
in
road,
there,
the
so-
third or fourth purchase.
So, yeah.
Do you have a question, Bob?
Yeah, Mr. Holt and I went and looked at a solar farm, and, you know, two things I can think of readily. I think they want a secure chain link fence around any site, and the one we looked at was extremely weedy. I mean, they were like, they weren't just grass, they were horse weeds. And, you know, and then it had all gravel on it, but it was growing all up. It looked bad. I mean, I thought it looked real bad.
on both sides of the fence.
Yeah, and I think any of their property, we wanna make sure is maintained and being weed controlled.
Yeah.
You know, if they wanna have something that, you know, along the outside that would be like, I don't know, milkweed or something that would be friendly for some of the ecology, maybe that would be.
Butterfly farm.
Thank you, very well noted, sir, Robert.
Boy,
But-
butter.
He's sucking up to me right
But I
now.
do think,
Working on it.
you know, the fence and the weed control is,
We're requiring the fence. The discussions on the plantings underneath have been twofold at this point in time. One is pollinator plants. Planters and expert, well, that's fine, but that's up for discussion. I understand, it may not work, but whatever. And then is there an IDOT mix for stuff that works too? I don't know, so.
Dean, you had
Get
something?
some beehives there.
Oh,
Honey farm.
Jason might know more about it, I don't know, but, there's something going through the,
He just wants it hay so he can
no,
mow
through,
it.
through the, Congress right now on the ag impact mitigation agreement, I think the Farm Bureau's working on it, aren't they?
Yeah.
I wonder if that ought to be implemented, that they have to follow that right from the get-go, you know, whenever it becomes available. And that might address some of the weed issues too, I don't know what all they'll address in that.
They're gonna have to be neighborly no matter
Yes.
what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's hard to specify though. You gotta be neighborly.
Well, if it's in the contract, the agreement.
Neighboring is our discretion.
Right. As we see it.
So where are you at in the process now? The planning commission?
Yeah, they're gonna, everything's been kicked back, so they review everything, try to go through May for them. Everything, all the way through board. Everything lined up, okay, this is the project, do. These are proposed conditions, approval, here it is, let's rock and roll.
The
So then-
ZBA will meet, what, Thursday?
Yeah, but they may have to discuss a whole lot too, yeah. Attorneys are lined up in that, so.
Okay. Solid waste.
Okay. Got several documents regarding solid waste in front of you. The first one's my synopsis of the documents that came in. The first one is Livingston Landfill wanting to permanently decommission or have permanently decommissioned some landfill wells, 31, 32, and 84. They were either obstructed or they weren't getting any gas flow because of some of the collectors around them. So they submitted that they wanted to decommission them, and they cut them off and put the final cover over them because the wells around them are doing an adequate job of getting that coming up to them at this point in time. The second one is well EW 186 was not producing, had it pinched, and they want to replace it this construction season. At this point in time, The drill rig is on the property, so they are actively working to replace and put in new gas wells on the property at this point in time, and new headers as need be as they go through it. So that is being done at this point in time. The third one down is just the regular quarterly MPDS permit. They have their ongoing need of cleaning the inlets that go along with the erosion that goes along with that. The next one down is 184. Had some compliance issues. They put an above ground lateral in place on that. I don't think it worked too well, so they're putting a new lateral to address that. That'll be part of the current construction project at this point in time. We got a copy of the Cornerstone February monthly well field monitoring data, which this is all the temperatures, all the gas levels. It's better than it has been, so it's an improvement on that. Number 7 is the monthly NPDS, which is similar to the other ones. March 15th is the quarterly, I'll call it quarterly, Clean Air Act report, which is in regards to them submitting basically in different form of all the gas system stuff I reported to you in different forms in the past. Put together an own report and shipped in, so it's nothing new to us. And then the methane issues were not an issue in March either. Going to Streeter area landfill. The methane gas is continued on X309. It came up on X307. Since the landfill Republic took back over the gas system at the first of the year, they've contracted out a company to evaluate the gas system as it is now to see what they need to do as far as repairs to it and so forth. So that evaluation of that gas system is taking place now because it was another company had a contract. They switched over the flares or getting ready to switch over the flares. Well, this gas is not going to be, it's not enough to be producing energy, so it's gone, it's going to be burned off. So you don't see it if you're driving along the road, you don't see it. You have to drive on the backside in South Street or look across the river where you see the flame in, but people are used to it, it's been there. So. Two last remarks in regards to that is you have the host agreement information in front of you. It continues to be down a little bit. It's going to continue to be that. They did lose a contract, so what you see we're getting is probably going to be that way unless they gain another contract in regards to that. My last comment is that we have planned with Deegan Associates, we do an annual split sample of the wells, the water wells, so that so we know what's going on with some of those things. That's been planned for both Streeter and the Pontiac areas, so that's going to be taking place. One's in April, if not both of them will be in April, so they'll be taking place in April and rest of that. The other documents you have in front of you are the comments from Deegan and Associates in regards to Livingston and Streeter. These go back from last year to current, and a lot of these are just same things I reported to, almost everything's what I reported to you, they put in different language. So
I noticed repeatedly from Cornerstone that we're seeing elevated temperatures and oxygen levels and some issues with that. I mean, have they discussed what the issue is, and how clearly with added oxygen levels and the issue of subsurface oxidation?
yeah, I don't think that's two things. Number one, I think with them going in and redoing the gas, all over the gas system,
into the system.
the thought is that the gas system work is going to take care of a lot of those issues, and that's the hope. And they're proposing to put on the final cap on the final 25 acres on C, and some of these wells are on top of C. And the final cap goes on there, that should take care of all the air intrusion going into those.
Sure.
So that should take care of those issues, the problem children over on that area. It's been there for a while. So those two things should happen, you know. I'm not saying come June, everything's in and done and maybe it's
Don't
not,
see
it hasn't worked out, but
fluctuations
we're gonna figure out where we're at that point in time, a lot
Right.
better than it was.
They also told us they're adding 3 new, what they call caisson wells,
Yeah.
which are adjustable, and we think that will improve the flow, where they can set it where they want.
Well, yeah, basically what they're doing is instead of waiting until they have part of a cell filled with waste and then putting the gas well in 6 months, a year later, when it starts producing gas, they're experimenting of putting in wells as they're putting the waste in, putting gas wells in and putting the gas, so that way they're in place right away, so that there's not this lag time going in behind that. In order to do that is.
So they stair step that well up as they're filling the cell, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Kind of like a tube inside of a tube where they can pull
They
one
pull
up.
it up.
I'll stop you.
They're putting a gravel base on the bottom. They're putting a perforated pipe down through there. They're putting the caisson tubing around the outside. They're filling the gap between the caisson and the perforated with river rock. And then as the waste comes up, then they'll pull that caisson tubing up and keep on building it like that. It's experimental. They've done it already.
I'm glad he added that.
Well, it's kind of like that, they're now, when they're compacting on the flat, thinking they're gonna get more material in the same area, get a better compaction. They didn't really have a test result yet to say that's better or how much better. They think it's better, but how much better is it?
They've done the caisson gas wells at other landfills, so it's not new to the company. Flat compacting is relatively new, that's experimental too. So.
They're trying is what they're doing. They're trying to mitigate the problem, and
Yeah.
they're looking for whatever way they can do it.
Get more bang for their buck is what they're trying to
That's the other part of it too.
Well, I think the gas well's up, because you know, the problem with some of these sea wells that we keep on talking about was from the beginning, because they had a manager that left, it rained like the day before they were gonna put waste in there, and he didn't pump the water out. So it was, some of them, 2 or 3 wells were a problem child from day one,
because there wasn't proper compaction to.
well, the waste hit the water and it started decomposing right away, I mean, within a few months. So the gas was being produced faster than anticipated, so.
He took a short one.
You experimented.
Yeah.
Your laziness.
He tried to sell that to his corporation.
So, did you have any other comments on any else? I mean,
You've got the vinyl cover, you've got the number of new wells, caisson. They added a pipe, flame over the streeter, so there's 2 burning off of it. I think we covered it all.
did we do plan on meeting him?
We're working on extending the contract.
Supposed to be agreement. So we're gonna meet with him again, at least somehow this month, and move forward with those issues, make sure.
How close are you on numbers?
I don't think it's, at this point in time, it doesn't seem like they're conceptually we're fine. I don't think it's gonna be a big issue at this point in time, hopefully not.
Is there any concern of the loss of contract on?
Okay. The best way for me to explain that is the landfill needs so much tonnage for them to go in there, for them to conduct business. So as long as that's there for them needing to conduct business, then we should be okay. Because they gotta operate it, obviously. If they wanna make money out of it, they're in business to make it go, so. Is there concern? Sure. It's out of our control, I guess, as far as where contracts come from and where they go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But at least for the next year or two, it doesn't look like it's at least the contracts in place. If they can control that garbage, but a lot of it's their own, you know. You see the dumpster sitting out in front of Wrigley Field, that's coming down here, you know.
Or if they ship it somewhere else, it's their own control.
I think it was, they have the landfill in Indiana.
They
yeah.
play different games,
Yeah.
moving it to different landfills.
Sure they do. Yep.
They can create whatever they want on this page for a while, but they need the space eventually.
Yeah, it costs them a lot of money to do office living in Philly, so.
You could never start over again.
So any questions on the landfills or anything like that? I mean, they did, forgot to mention, they did do a pretty good job of picking up the roadways finally after talking to them several times and everything else. They changed their methods of doing that, and I think it's pretty well picked up at this point in time.
I think they did the best job they've ever done. I don't know why we have to mention it to them. Why, I asked them, why can't you check it once a month? And you decide it looks bad enough, rather than me calling you and complaining. But he did. I told him I've seen trucks that had bags coming out of them. And I called the landfill. He said, well, call me. So he gave me his business card to call him. Sometimes I'm on old 66, and all I can see is it's a red tractor with a white trailer, and it's whatever. I can see maybe the company name, but I can't see the trailer number.
Sounds like Jason's honey.
So I call him and go,
Red
yeah.
tractor, red trailer.
I think the frustration with that is, I too have seen operators who are losing material, and I have been able to not only call the number, they've also asked for the tractor number as well. And so a lot of times when you're driving,
Yeah, okay.
it's a blur.
Right.
That's number one, but it's almost like the burden of proof is upon you and not, hey, we get that this is happening, we'll get it taken care of. It's more of, well, are you sure you saw him do that?
Yeah.
Or her?
Yeah.
And so I think that hopefully this is a step in the right direction, that they'll make some added changes. But once you call in, you have no confirmation
No.
that anything has taken place.
And
And
one time
so,
they said, after 2 calls, this is gonna happen. After 3 calls,
Yeah.
they won't be allowed there anymore.
you know,
I don't know if that ever happened.
I would think that it might be easy for them to provide verification to the board that, hey, yeah, we are doing this, and these are the violations that were called in, and these are the things that we did about it. And if there's 0 on there, I would venture to say that they're probably, if the
You talk
system
to
isn't
Bill
working.
James when you call out there? William James?
Bill?
No, I just was given the landfill number. The
That's the number he had,
Bill card-
that's the number he has
Bill-
now.
Bill is what gave me the, yeah, that's who I got now, but that's not who I've been calling.
I think he'd be more than welcome to come up here and chat with us, or we'd go out there and chat.
Oh,
with him.
I have no
He's-
problem with that,
yeah.
and I think he would do
I mean,
an
if he
excellent job, I
thinks
just,
he can help.
Yep, make things better.
You get over there between Grant Park, we went over to Easter over in Hannah in Indiana, and I don't know where that landfill's at, but you get from Grant Park over there to Lowell, 55 looks pristine compared to what that road was.
understandable.
I mean, it is to the point to where our 10-year-old daughter, who was too busy on her phone to do anything, looked up and said, look at all this garbage.
Right.
It is a mess.
Yeah, I took that shortcut going over to Ohio, and it was terrible.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Near Newton, it's Newton County, I think it's near Newton itself, so.
Not good out there.
Do you want to go over this? How about pay the bill?
Motion to pay bill.
Motion by Jason.
I'll second it.
Second by Paul. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Anything more on the landfill?
No more landfill now.
Okay. Other issues to come before the committee?
I get some confirmation, that we were accepted as far as opting into the electronic recycling program. Somebody said it's on the website, and I have to check the website, and it's on the website, so.
Now it's time to put someone in charge of it.
55 counties opted in, the rest didn't, so it's kind of interesting to see which direction the other counties will go as far as how they're gonna look at that. A lot more southern Illinois, but Woodford County didn't opt in, nor did Ford or Iroquois opt in, so it kind of makes it interesting to see how some of those will, I looked at the area ones as, okay, what are those area ones gonna, I guess Woodford's the one that kind of surprised me.
That would be shocking.
Ford and Iroquois didn't necessarily, and a lot of them are southern Illinois, which didn't surprise me either, but that's kind of where we're at with that. Just a quick update on your Clem property. Darrell asked about it, but I didn't have a report on that. He's back on his work release with out working during the day and staying in the confines of the county's housing development during the night. So he has a no hearing in the middle of the month, so that's where he's at. So.
I haven't heard the name Sun Trucking come up from any of my constituents lately. Has anything improved or not improved there?
It's not.
I think it went better for a while. Now it's going the other way. He's starting to bring in more stuff. I just came by there and kind of slowed down a little bit, checked it out, and there seems to be more stuff around the building.
Let's hope the weeds grow real tall, because that's.
It's part of my fault, I understand, I just don't have time to sit and babysit the guy. I mean,
No, I get
It's
that.
time to go
I'm
and
not-
sit in there, it's like, okay, here we are.
Well, I guess maybe the question is if we're going in a wrong direction, right? So we made some positive, but now we're going back in a negative direction.
I had some guys that had gone up and played golf.
What's
See it, when they came out, they called me, they said, what, can't we do something here?
What's the next step that we would take? Because maybe just some little bit different ways of reinforcement to hit the point home. I don't know.
I can start with just going up there and walking through the property with you and say, okay, what can we get rid of here, what's gonna stay?
Have you done that?
I partially did it, I haven't done it through the whole property.
But you've done that. At some point in time, you get tired of doing that.
Yep.
Well,
And when you don't see any
Great.
movement in the right direction.
It's like you got a lot of other things to do too.
I talked to him one time too, and that,
I got him to the point, he goes, I can get rid of that, but I don't wanna, I got Crouch will come down and recycle stuff, so we'll get a couple loads done that way. He goes, I can put some of the stuff I wanna sell, so I can put it on eBay, put it on whatever internet venue you wanna say for an auction or whatever.
Or put it out on a trailer next to Old 66 with for sale signs on it for 4 months too, which he did.
Which he likes to do that during the
yeah,
summer season.
During the red corridor.
Yeah.
That's my problem
Yeah.
is that gives us,
Okay.
well, and it's just junk that's set out there. It's not anything I think anybody would stop and buy.
do we have anything with any amount of teeth that we can,
I can give it to the state's attorney again, but
but
wait, let me talk to him.
he's had it before, hasn't he? And
No, not this one,
Oh,
no.
he's had to sit over by the
I think
school.
it's time for step 4.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
There was a while I was getting phone calls once a week on,
from the same person.
no, 2 different people, but one of them was persistent.
Persistence is a nice way to put
Yep,
that.
he was persistent.
And one of them has their own problems too, so.
Well, and like I said, I preface all of my comments
I
with,
understand that, yeah.
my place right now, Better Homes and Gardens, is not knocking on my door to come
Yeah.
take pictures.
And I understand that
the
everybody's
mud and
got,
the manure
but
and
this is a continual question.
It's continue, clean it up, improve a little, improve a little bit, then it goes. You gotta babysit the guy, and that's the problem, child. Okay.
We ever do anything more on campus?
I don't think we should. I guess campus is, they've got a board there, they've got a mayor there, all, they're using our ordinance, but
Yes, sir.
why should we go into town?
are you talking Kavanaugh's or are you talking the
You're talking about the toilets, right?
Public health issue.
I'll check with Steve on that, see where we're at.
There's stuff on the ground there.
I'll check with Steve and see where we're at on
Mm-hmm.
We've got pictures of it, you know.
I got pictures. Yeah,
I've shot pictures.
I know you
You've
have,
shot them,
yeah. We got it.
And Donnie Simmons would be at my house in a heartbeat if he seen them puddles on the ground in my asphalt driveway, so. You know, where he's physically transferring waste.
And it's spilling.
Absolutely.
Clearly,
I
yeah.
don't care if the village ain't, it's still a county issue.
Well, health-wise.
That's right. So where's our,
I'll visit, I'll see where Steve's at.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
and if we've gotta sit down with the town, the county, or the state's attorney, and let's tighten up the ordinances. They're ready to do that over there. They just sat, they haven't done anything.
It's gotten nasty between this owner and the village board, has it not?
Yes.
Is it that how that come, I mean,
It is nasty right now.
yeah.
They're screaming at each other and they're swearing at each other. You shouldn't have to live that way, Darrell.
Okay.
Is the problem that the board is,
A lot of new people on the board.
they're not sure what?
Right, they're not sure.
Yeah.
They're not sure.
Okay.
And if they sat down and talked to the state's attorney, I'm sure they would have more information. And I think they're willing to do that. But, you know, for them to go out and hire an attorney, I think we need to try and help them get in the right direction.
Steve will be in Thursday, I can check. and see
Yeah.
what
Well, you know, if I can, for just a minute, respond to what you're saying. There were some people in Dwight, or one, some people, one, that called me, was really concerned because she did not get TV reception from Chicago. Her news came out of Peoria. She wanted Chicago news. She said, the county can change that for me.
Can you? Because I got the same problem.
And, well, let me,
Settle up.
let me just respond to this whole story. So yeah, like, you know, as the county board, we're gonna go in on one or two people's request to change TV when maybe the other 98% like where they're getting. And I told her that if that's what she wanted, if the town of Dwight requests the county help in that issue, we would be willing to look in to see what we could do. Because it has to go with the Federal Trade Commission or something. They set boundaries where those can be. I think campus is the same way. I think I went into the bank in campus one day to try to find out who the mayor was and stuff, and I asked Walsh's in there. They didn't seem real concerned about it.
Just because they don't care doesn't mean that
Well,
it's not a health issue.
I don't know if they care or not. Nobody has reached from campus has reached out that I know of to us, to Chuck, for any help. And
Yeah, the
They
board,
have-
a couple of board members who talked to me.
Okay.
I mean, it's
Like
very.
you say, you got some, bunch of new people on the board and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
so they may not know the process or
Right.
steps to take.
No, but I've talked to them
Yeah.
and they need to talk to somebody and get them on the right track.
Well, they need to
And I
talk-
think then we're out of it, you know.
I would think they'd have an attorney that the town uses for at least some different.
They don't.
Every
do much
little
with
town has
attorneys
to have
over
an
there. I
attorney.
mean, I'm not saying they may have to, but
I'll check with Steve on Thursday, see where we're at.
You know, they need to do some of the legwork. And
but we
I
still got
am-
a county health department that needs to go up there and address the issue. Because there is a violation and it's in the county. Now, maybe us as a board have no control over that, but there still is an issue there, you know.
It lies in the
Simmons.
confines of our borders.
Yeah,
mean,
it's in
it's-
our borders.
It's,
Okay. We covered public comment, or we got some public comment?
Maybe we're stirred up enough.
I'd have one, if you're down to that, are you ready for public comment?
yeah.
I talked to Chuck about this, but, on the AMA for the wind farms. There was one spot in it that I was reading through it, and you have to look on the second page. That's the whole decommissioning part, AMA. And then this is the other one. You'll see on the first handout that the first handout about the AMA.
Which one are you talking, Dean? The one that says?
The one that says
13?
AMA about right across.
Okay.
Across it. On the where it's highlighted there, the part that's highlighted. If you want to just read that part, it's kind of confusing. But basically, the way I read it, the county has there's an obligation there as far for the county to, if the wind company is going to use salvage value in to offset decommissioning costs, which they all do, you know, then there's supposed to be some kind of agreement between the county and the company and anybody could be an owner of the company, like the. But anyway, that the county, if you read it, if there's an abandonment of the wind farm, the county would have the first right to the salvage value. So it wouldn't go to the lender that's loaning money to the wind farm. It would go to the county because they're using that as an offset. You see what I'm saying on that?
Not decommissioning as much as a walk away from the business is what you're
If they
concerned
walk
with?
away, just abandon it, abandon the farm.
Abandonment.
Abandonment, that's what it says in there on AMA.
And then if so correct me if I'm wrong, so if there's a lien on anything that's there or
Yeah.
something of that nature, that doesn't go automatically to
It would go
the
to the county
lender.
first.
It would go to the county, and they're still on the hook for,
Yeah.
I see exactly what you said.
And I feel like there should probably be something in the ordinance to feel, you know, so that happens, you know, in the wind ordinance, so that I just proposed some language up in the ordinance on the next page, that for a text amendment to the ordinance that I think would take care of the issue. That's more copy.
Do you, oh. that's the other one.
There's extras up here, add extras.
Take another 9-inch.
I've got that.
You got that?
Got that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got it
You
here,
got that.
but you took.
Yeah, I got that.
Maybe Chuck knows.
Chuck, what's this symbol called? What is this symbol?
At the end of the 52nd.
I don't know, that's the code people that we hire to do the code puts that in there, so.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is.
It's not on my computer, I don't
I
think.
don't either, man.
Must be on legal computers.
It's not consistent though. I guess it's symbolizes the editor's notes, I'm not sure where it is though.
Okay. We will,
In the result of a bankruptcy though, would it not, that would take some type of law or some judge's ruling to go this direction though, wouldn't it?
I think you'd have to have an agreement that would go back to the lenders, that they would see that you have first right in the bank. And there'd have to be something the agreement would have to be something that was not just with the applicant. It was, you know, I don't know how that works. Somebody in legal would know.
Well, don't we require a letter of assurance of credit
yes.
that they have in a bank in case?
They do, but like on a lot of these wind farms, you know, say there's $11 million of financial assurance, they'll offset maybe $9 million of that with salvage value. So a big chunk of of it never gets put under financial assurance because they offset it. They take the salvage value away from what it actually costs to decommission. It's a lot of times over 3/4 of the cost.
But we've got in ours a decommission fund, correct? I mean, as far as you own it, I buy it, and we keep selling it on down the road, that fund still has stayed intact. The
Yeah, if you-
decommission fund.
Yeah, but like Dean was
It's only
saying,
a small portion of what the cost is because they take that offset on decommissioning.
So they take the salvage cost.
The salvage
salvage
value
value
of
of
what
that.
they could get for the turbines, they take that off. And most of the time, that's over 3/4 of the actual decommissioning cost.
Alina had her hand up.
Pardon?
Alina had
I
her.
know. Go get her. If, this would be, this does not include the actual cost of decommissioning. So somebody, the owner would have to pay the cost of decommissioning or pay the salvage, pay the removal cost. And
Well,
on
you
that,
have that in financial assurance. You
Yeah.
have that, because this is if they abandon it, and the county and the people, it comes back to the county and then also to the landowners that had the turbines on their ground, you know, to have to do it. Well, you have financial assurance for the part that isn't the salvage
well,
value,
just, yeah,
but you don't have any financial assurance for what it's gonna,
they walk away from it.
yeah, for the actual salvage value of the turbine that they took off.
Alina?
And we changed it so many times that, I could be lost. I was gonna try and pull it up real quick, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought when we amended the ordinance, we incorporated didn't we incorporate this in there? Or was that different?
We incorporated the in-depth agreement language in there, but we didn't specifically look at the decommissioning.
But if the agreement itself is
Yeah.
in there and references this, that means that they have to abide by what's in here.
Yes.
That's right, but then you as a county have to have an agreement with them. In this one instance, you have to have an agreement with them. If they don't do that and nobody administers it, nobody does anything about it, nothing will
But
happen.
if part of your permit is contingent upon you doing this, and that's what it says in the ordinance, then I guess I'm not sure.
McLean County, I think they just did some, and I don't think they're doing any of this part of it. I mean, it all comes down to, this is a state rule that is administered by the county. The state does not enforce it.
But the county ordinance incorporates the state rule
Mhm.
in its entirety.
Yeah.
So I don't
So you
understand
have
why
to-
you would
you
have
have
it
to have
separate.
it.
I mean,
That's right.
if the whole agreement is part of the ordinance and says you have to follow that, then why would you specify one specific portion of it separately? I guess is what I'm asking.
Because it's the main thing in this agreement that the county has to have happen. I mean, most of the agreement is between the applicant has to do something, and in the county, it doesn't have that involvement. Here, it's actually asking for an agreement between the county and the developer.
In that part that you highlighted,
Yeah. That it says in there that the county had,
where is it at?
okay, the use of salvage value as a set-off is dependent upon an agreement by the commercial wind developer, facility
I'm
owner.
sorry, where are you reading?
The second
Oh, the
that
use of
sentence.
salvage
Yeah.
value, okay.
That just the second sentence. The first sentence isn't even part of it.
If they get torn down and 5 feet below the ground, the concrete's out, all the wind structure's gone, what do we care?
Then there wouldn't be a problem.
What do we care though? I mean, somebody's gonna salvage the material that's salvageable, why do we care who gets it as long as the project is
it's the money.
completed?
It's the money, because here's
The
what.
money,
If they'd
okay.
abandoned it, that's all, it's only talking if they abandon it.
If they ban it, they give up all rights to it.
They give up rights, but their lender might still wanna keep the rights to the money.
The
and salvage.
lender would probably have the lien on the material on the windmills is
Yeah,
what.
on the windmills. That's what would happen.
Dean's wanting us to have the first right, if that company were to walk away, we're not talking decommissioning, they're bankrupt.
Abandon it.
If they abandon it and just shut the windmills off and walk away from it, Dean is afraid that there's going to be a lien on the scrap steel of them wind towers, that the lenders are gonna get the money from that and not the county. The county won't be getting the money from at that point would be decommissioning or taking down of the scrap steel. The county is not getting any of that money. The lien holders, the creditors will get that if they file a bankruptcy.
Well,
The county would
I
have
mean,
the
that's
expense.
what AIMA is saying, basically, and if AIMA needs to be followed, which we want it to be followed, then I think there needs to be an agreement.
well, Valina thinks that it might already
Well,
be included, you know, I think we need to check with Randy
yeah, we
Yeah.
probably need to
It-
check with Randy.
We're not gonna
and make
take,
sure
we're not gonna take action tonight.
No,
No,
we don't
But
need
I'm thinking that if you
Yeah.
reference this and it says you have to have an agreement, regardless if you change the ordinance, you're still gonna have to have a separate agreement. Whether you put it in the conditions that their permit is subject to actually having a written agreement aside from the permit, you could do that, but if your ordinance already references that this document is in there and that you have to have an agreement, putting another separate article in there that says you have to enter into an agreement is kind of a duplicate.
Yeah, it does, really, the main thing is that the county knows that has to happen. That's I mean, it's in AIMA. You know, and if the county administers AIMA and everybody, but if people don't even know it, it won't happen. You know, if the zoning administrator doesn't know it and the wind company doesn't care about it,
Dean's problem.
it won't happen.
It's possible,
That's the
it's
thing.
possible when that happens,
If it gets
that
abandoned for the first
decommissioning,
10 years, then
we all probably
agency's
are gonna be below the ground anyway.
We continue to operate it, it's
We're
gonna
gonna have to find somebody else,
Okay,
or somebody
Thanks,
else
Dean.
will have to dig it up. No wonder.
Yeah, just check it out. And you know, I don't know that it, like I say, it's.
we don't have any executive
They
session.
know about it.
We will cover the bills. We covered public comment. So now we have
Meeting adjourned?
motion by Steve. I'll second it. Second by Paul. In discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.